everybody, Arthur here with a headbanging intro. This is episode 5 of State of the Art, and today I have a special guest. We have Jason, and as you can see how to pronounce his last name, of Spero
Ooh,
Toys. and we're here to talk about some figures, some cool ass figures.
yeah.
And Jason, how are you doing this fine evening in short
I'm
notice?
good,
And
man.
I apologize for everybody with the delay. We got times mixed up, and then
No,
he's
my
rushing
fault.
short notice, and
Yeah,
it got a little bit hectic. But I appreciate you guys sticking around until the stream started.
yeah.
But
Sorry about
Jason, how you
that.
doing?
That was 100% my fault. I got the time zones mixed up again.
It happens.
Yeah, I
I
got I
had
got burned on the Serpentor pre-order. I should have learned my lesson.
I had somebody else that was a guest like before I started doing these state of the art, and they just didn't make it at all. And I'm just like, wow, this just didn't happen.
Yeah, I
And then they
panicked.
felt
I was
bad.
like, so I just got a new. I mean, like for the longest time, like I had two monitors, and then like when I started working from home, I had two monitors still, but one was sitting in a box because I didn't have the wall mounts. So I just got the wall mounts, and I saw your message pop up saying like, "Hey, we're going on in 2 minutes," and I was like, "Whoa, what? Wait a second! I thought it was 8 o'clock, not 7 o'clock."
Yeah, I'm
So
in Maryland right now, so I'm in the
okay,
Eastern time, man.
y'all got the cool flag.
What's that?
I said y'all have the cool flag.
I guess.
You don't even know what it looks like, do you?
No, I mean I'm originally from Michigan, so I'm like I just been
Okay,
living in Maryland, so I'm just like,
okay, all right, fair enough.
but, but I'll be heading back to Michigan. So
Oh, nice.
yeah, Maryland it's very expensive in Maryland.
I'm sure it's cold too, but of course Michigan's cold. So
Yeah, it's just going to a lot more cold of a
yeah,
climate.
yeah.
So, all right. So, let's get into some fun questions before we start showing off the product and getting everybody, drooling.
Sure.
So what really like let's start with something simple. What was your first toy that you remember that was like your favorite that you as a kid? What
All
do you
right. So I grew up in the 80s, and I distinctly remember having to go to swimming lessons. And the swimming lessons consisted of like them throwing me in the deep end and me like treading water, going like legitimately thought I was gonna drown for like 30 minutes. And like while my parents visited with like whoever was giving me swimming instructions. And one of those swimming lessons, I went through the drill or treading water, and I got out of the pool, and my dad was talking to the dad or whatever, and they had like that old, those old like 80s style like dining room round tables and everything, and they were just talking. I remember picking up this stormtrooper, like the original trilogy stormtrooper, and being like, what the hell is this? And I was like, Dad, I need one of these. Like I have to have one of these, whatever this is. And he was like, all right, yeah. So that's probably like the most I had never seen or knew what an action figure was until at that like moment. I was just like, holy cow, I don't know what this is, but I need it, and I need more of it, lots of them.
so you almost
So
drowned and then you came out of the water and then like the beams of light were just shining down onto this stormtrooper.
yeah, I mean, it was just like it had like I could see its plastic, or it was just like, oh.
See, I remember back when you could get cool things from like cereal boxes and stuff. It was like
Oh
I
yeah.
think it was Luke dressed as like a stormtrooper or Han, one of them. And I remember losing it in my neighbor's pool, and it was
Oh
disgusting. And I'm just like,
no.
and it was cold, and I'm like, I'm not going to get in there. And I just ended up leaving it in the middle of this nasty pool.
Oh man, that's a bummer.
Yeah, I kicked myself in the butt. I'm like, why? I was just a reckless kid that just didn't care.
Right?
Only I knew. So we
Oh
got
well.
some people in here. We got Art G in here. We got some Darth Gutierrez in here. Toy Addict 17.
How's it
And then
going?
we got
Yeah,
Hankin. He's listening while at work, so he doesn't get to see our beautiful faces.
I won't be able to see the comments, so if someone has a question, I guess just let me know, because I
Oh,
am
for
on
sure.
my awesome mobile device.
White Vegeta said hello, hello. And I think one of somebody you might know, Adam Drake said it's typical Jason to be late.
That is true. Yeah. What's up, Adam?
So, and then Judd is here as well. He's my
Absolutely.
moderator. Good guy. Um, but all right, so you had the Stormtrooper as your first ideal, that was your intro to toys. And
Yep.
then what really got you into like, hey, I'm gonna make action figures myself?
I remember doing graphic design, and I had kind of come up with the idea for doing a comic book because I knew it wouldn't take a lot of investment. It was just like my time and then a little bit of paper, So I uh, I started working on the comic book that was, Animal Warriors of the Kingdom. And when I was designing the characters, I thought to myself, okay, what do I want to like draw a lot of times? And so I kind of thought about He-Man and Thundercats and Ninja Turtles, how like all the main characters were kind of simplistic, but their colors were bold and they had a cool design. So that was my template slash cookie cutter slash cookbook for how to create the characters. And so whenever I finished that first graphic novel, my next phase of like, oh, what can I try next was doing the that 4-inch scale action figures that you and I pretty much grew up with.
And then now you're evolving them from 4-inch to 6-inch.
Yeah, yeah, we did the Kickstarter. We did 2 Kickstarters for 4-inch figures. Actually, we did three. The first one failed, which I was really bummed out about, but it all worked out. Everything, I gave myself like 3 weeks. I say 3 weeks. I gave myself like 2 weeks to be bummed out about it, and then I was like, okay, well, the worst case scenario happened, so let me figure out what I did right, what I did wrong, and how to improve on it, and learn how to use social media as like a marketing and a crowdfunding type of device. So I took a year, revised everything. The next Kickstarter launched. It was successful, and then we built on that momentum and did a deluxe version of those 4-inch figures. That was successful as well. And I was all set up and ready to do Toy Fair. And I remember sitting in the parking lot after I went to exercise, and they called and they were like, "Hey, listen, we're canceling Toy Fair because of COVID." And I was like, "Well, that sucks, but it's totally understandable." And so while I was sitting in the car, I thought, I really like 6-inch scale figures. I don't know about you, but like during the lockdown, I remember going through like Big Bad Toy Store and Amazon and stuff and seeing what was on sale. And I basically picked a bunch of stuff that was Marvel Legends, Star Wars Black Series, Power Rangers, stuff like that, and kind of dipped my toe into the 6-inch scale. And I was like, okay, I do like this. So, and I have a little bit of extra money because now this Toy Fair is not going to be happening. So I kind of got with our sculptors who I was already friends with, and we kind of secretly set about starting the 6-inch prototypes. And we launched the Kickstarter last April, and that was it. It was just a really, really big success. We weren't planning on it being that successful, but it was amazing.
Nice, nice. All right, so we got a question already from Adam. He says, "Speaking of the comic, how soon is issue 3 going to be available? I'm jonesing for my fix."
So we're gonna debut it at Legion's Con, the physical copy, and I'll probably make it I'll make it available digitally like right before I fly out, which is like November 4th ish. So we'll just say tentatively November 4th.
There you go.
Tentatively.
November 4th.
Yeah.
There could be delays. No.
There could and should and probably will be, but we'll see.
All right. So I guess let's start diving in. You sent me some awesome photos that we can look at of your figures. So let's go ahead and
Yeah, let's see what we got.
add them to the stream. So the first one we're looking at is, I guess this is weaponries.
So that's
And
Atreyu's weapon accessories. He's part of Wave 1 of the Primal 6-inch series.
which is awesome. I like the details in the shield.
Thank you. And all of our shields are lefty and right-handed shields. There's no images of it, but the back has two holes in it that you can take the handle out and plug in, and in case if I was left-handed, I'd want my figure to hold it in the right hand, and vice versa.
Right.
And
And these
especially with the two shields that we have out right now, they're both oriented where there's a face on it. So I was like, okay, we can't just simply rotate it and fix the problem. So our solution was just having a removable handle and having a hole on either side to make it left or right.
and the handles with that type of setup, you think any risk of anything like snapping or anything feeling too loose?
No, well, the first little sample that we got, the handles were really loose, and I was concerned about it because I was like, this is not gonna work. But the last couple of samples that I got, they were nice and tight, so it shouldn't be an issue. But you were asking if something could snap. It's made out of two different materials. So the shield's more of like a hard material,
Okay.
and the handle is slightly less hard. Like it's got like a little bit of play in it to where it can kind of wiggle around a little bit.
Nice. Now, weaponry in general, like the swords and stuff, are they harder plastics?
They are harder plastics. They
Okay.
won't You won't be able to like take it and like just bend it.
Good.
It will snap. But
Don't
it's a
want somebody
piece of
holding up a sword and then it starts drooping.
right. It's not going to droop, and especially like if you look at a lot of our melee weapons are pretty long, so the blades, it wouldn't be practical for them to be that kind of gummy plastic. And I mean, we have them aged out for 14 and older, so we kind of can get around that some of those
Good.
safety restrictions for 4 years.
Fuck
Young
it. Let them let them lose an eye.
I
We all
mean,
we all had that risk as kids. Come
we
on.
grew up and it was like, hey, if you haven't broken your arm or your leg or something by the time you were in like third grade, were you even like really living life? You know what I mean? So,
Right? I mean, what we could go buy all those cap guns and those rolled
oh,
up
yeah,
caps and stuff like that. And
absolutely.
yeah, with the rolls of the caps, I had a bad experience of like as a kid. I'm like, oh man, I could just sort of flick it with my nail and it'll pop. And yeah, that was a bad idea.
Did it
Like
really
I
work?
yeah, like I
Oh,
actually took
wow.
like because it's the paper and I like did that with my nail, but then it popped and then it blew my cuticles back up on one of my
Oh,
fingers. I'm like, well, nope, not gonna be doing that.
note to self. Let's not do
Yep.
that.
But let's see what the next one is. So I take it that there we got Atreyu right there.
So that's him. That's who his accessories are for. I do want to note that head sculpt's slightly outdated. We have an updated version of it. And so whenever you see we'll
The
show some stuff
Protos.
later on of the prototypes, the face sculpt's slightly different than that. And all the armor is a little bit more shiny metallic gold as well.
This is the one I'm excited for. Blight.
You know, that's Blight. Adam was asking about issue 3, and he makes his debut in issue 3, page 18. So we'll finally get to see him in issue 3. Whenever we were putting together the Kickstarter, we thought it would be kind of just amusing to have like a negative version of the main character, Pale. And after I painted it, I was like, we were just kind of like, holy crap, that's actually pretty awesome. So we wound up working it into the comic book, and I think fans will enjoy how he fits into the story.
I love the color setup with them. I love the red eyes. I just love everything about this figure. I was like, this is the one. I was like, out of all of them, I was like, this is the one. This is my main one.
It's very popular. It's funny, like looking through all the orders, I was like, man, that was a popular figure. And I don't know. I feel like that right there. If you weren't interested in the actual IP itself, that would go so great in your Thundercats or your Masters of the Universe line, your collection, I should say.
We're collectors, man.
Yeah,
We should be collecting all figures that are just cool and badass. I
absolutely.
mean,
Yeah, I mean, pretty much like if like my toy shelves have uh, an amalgamation of everything that I like. I mean, I have my Thundercats and Masters of the Universe classics all kind of mixed and matched, and I'm starting to put I'm sorry, Ninja Turtle Ultimates are starting to like make their way into there as well. So yeah, I don't really divide them up into their specific IPs. It's just like, oh hey, that looks cool next to that one, and here and there and whatnot.
Yeah, this one is just a sexy figure. And then these are his weapons.
That's his weapons. His name's Blight, so he's got poison tipped weapons.
Yeah, I didn't even know that they were poison tipped. I was like, I just love the transition of the color from the tips to the
Yeah,
I was like, they're
I mean,
tarnished from seeing battle.
they're not poison in real life, but in the comic, when like if you like gets a little slice on you, it'll make you sick.
See, next thing got some video games right there. You know,
That would be amazing.
you just
I
received
mean, like
poison
whenever I
damage.
started the comic book, it was let's do a comic book, and it'd be cool to make a toy line, and then I could use those two to promote a cartoon. Basically, that trifecta that Ninja Turtles, Thundercats, Masters did in the '80s, and I'm not sure why marketing veered away from that, but it seems like a no-brainer. Doing a video game is such a big endeavor compared to doing a cartoons, but I get it. The return is, way bigger than a cartoon, because a cartoon is basically just an advertisement for the toys. But whenever you buy like a modern video game, I can't think of one recently that doesn't have in-game purchases where it's like aesthetic, change your armor, or stuff that you can use online, multiple player stuff and expansion packs, all that stuff. Anyway,
And
I
you
went
could
I went down a rabbit hole. Sorry.
no, that's a good rabbit hole. I mean, I was just like, even if you want to go a little bit like not even to like RPG level or something like that, you could easily do like a 2D cell shaded well,
Right,
just
like a
2D
beat
in
'em up.
general, like a fighting game.
Yeah, beat 'em up would be great. That would be so fun.
Beat 'em up fighting game. Cause I mean, if I don't know if there's like a company that did like Skullgirls, there's one that dropped that was called like Not My Herd, which it looks like My Little Ponies that are fighting and stuff, but it's like the artwork and stuff is really cool.
I need to
And I
check
could see
that
that
out.
work with
I would be definitely interested in that.
yeah, it's one of those on my list. I was like, I saw this and I told my buddy because we're big fighting game fans, and I was like, they just dropped this game called something My Herd, and I was like, it looks like a bunch of little My Little Ponies beating the shit out of each other.
That's pretty awesome. That's funny.
Adam did say just the tips.
Just a tip. That's my favorite band. Formerly known as
KJ,
Mouth Rack.
will you have 6-inch figures in time to sell at Legion's Con?
No, we're not going to have the product at Legion Con, but we're going to have factory samples. So I was actually just talking to my project manager today, and the reason we're not going to have them at the show is because all the torsos are going to be sonic welded, and they couldn't start the machine parts that do that until we actually got the physical tooling molds for the torsos. They could have taken a chance and like done it digitally, like according to what the digital version of that torso is, but it's too much of a crapshoot. So basically, it threw us off like it threw us off like 3 weeks from what we were hoping to do. So what we're gonna do is we're hoping to have at least 2 of each version of the figures at the show, so that we can have one that's like really cool pose, and then one that you guys can handle. But they will be glued together. They won't be like sonic welded. Which, I mean, if you have Marvel Legends or Action Force, let me think, Power Rangers. Like a lot of Hasbro stuff. All the torsos are that sonic weld. They're not glued together. So long story short, we won't have product to sell, but we will have like QR codes that have free shipping, like that QR code that we have in the back. That's free shipping if you're in the continental United States. So we'll have the samples in hand that you can hold and feel and look at and be like, yeah, I want it, I want that, and I won't have to fly home with it. And that's my pitch.
No, I mean that's good, man. I mean delays happen, so
Right.
basically
Yeah.
you're
I mean, it's a bummer, but we want it to be done right, and that torso has a lot of really complicated engineering inside of it, and even the outside, like the pectoral muscles have a lot of overhang, which it couldn't be part of that tooling mold. So then we had another tooling mold for that, and that's a different part. Maybe I could come back on when we talk about well, we could talk about on this one. Like the Thane torso is totally different from that. But yeah, it's just one of those things where it's like, is it a bummer? Yeah, but we want it to be exciting and done correctly. Whenever we finally get the product, we'll be like, okay, that was worth the wait. That was cool. You know?
Yeah, it just you don't want to get a figure that the freaking torso bursts apart or has gaps
Right,
and stuff like
exactly.
that, and you're like, "What the hell is this?" And then you're just gonna, be pissed off that you wasted the money on it. So it's
You
like,
know, it's funny you say that because like it feels silly or weird to me saying this is 20 years ago, but in the early like maybe like 2001, I remember one of my friends got this awesome Japanese import from it was one of the Final Fantasies where like the main bad guy had a six-legged horse, and his was awesome. So I ordered it for $50, and back then it was like $50. That's like on my whole paycheck. But
right?
I remember getting it, and it just like broke apart, like taking it out of the bubble, and I was just like, man. And it was an import from Japan, so it was like legitimately like ordered from Japan, and it was like 3 weeks till it arrived and everything, and I was just like, oh man, this thing was awesome, but it just broke like taking it out of the package.
I'm sure that was a pain trying to get a replacement.
I didn't even bother. Like I just glued it, like posed it cool looking, and placed it on the shelf.
See, that's how we used to do it back in the day. Now you'll have everybody in their pitchforks and torches writing,
Right.
corporate and everybody and saying
Yeah.
how, and having a smear campaign go on.
Yeah. You know, I mean, I am a fan, but I'm also like a creator, so I understand both sides of the production. And I remember, like we talked about, me getting Star Wars Black Series, and I had gotten a lot of them, and I wasn't putting anything in hot water or anything at the time because we're in Louisiana, so it's hot most of the time. And I remember getting the Ezra figure in the mail around cold season, and I didn't do the hot water thing, and like the leg broke, and I was like, oh man, that's a bummer. And so I returned it and everything. They sent me another one, and I started to kind of pose it, and like I could tell that exact same part was about to break, and I was like, okay, let me dip it in hot water because that figure was hard to find. I don't know if it was easy for you guys to find, but ever since that, like I put it in the hot water. It was totally fine after that. But after that experience, everything I just dip it in hot water. It just takes a few seconds, and you don't have to worry about the figure breaking because there's so many different types of plastic and modern figures that if it's a little too cold outside, or if something kind of got cold in shipment, it can make that type of stuff happen when you first get it.
And a lot of people don't realize where they're wanting these pinless joints and stuff like that. And it's like, all right, with the pinless joints, you start getting more stuck joints. Like I noticed
Right,
that with my
exactly. Right,
some of the classified series figures that I've gotten where like a knee's a little bit more locked up. So I had to take a hair dryer to it. It,
right,
it it looks seamless and nice without the pins, but then it's like, okay, you're gonna be having to deal with some of that shit, or you're gonna be
right.
breaking your
Yeah,
toys.
yeah, and it's funny because I mean, like we've been collecting toys all of our life, and it's a relatively new thing for us to deal with. Like we're not accustomed to it. I mean, I've forced myself to get into the habit of it now, just because I don't want my figures to break. I usually only buy stuff that I'm like in love with, um, because my shelves are just like full of toys, and it's like, okay, I already don't have anywhere to put this, so I better really, really like the figure, and it's going to be a treat whenever I do get it in hand.
Yeah, that's what I have to do that as well. Where I was like, I went down that Legends roll like hole and was like buying all this stuff, and I'm like, I don't even know who the hell these characters are, or if I knew
Right.
them, I'm like, I wasn't a fan of them. It just like I was just like, I had to get every wave and complete every build a figure, and then I'm like,
That's the
what am
thing.
I
The
doing?
path. Yeah, it's funny. Like I've never bought a full wave to complete a build a figure. I just wait until it's released. This is the first time that I'm going to try to build one. I think I might have tried for Hulk and gave up, but I'm trying to build the whoever the sea creature guy is from the new Black Panther figures.
A
That's a
Tuma,
cool looking big.
a
What's his
Tuma,
name?
a
Tuma?
Tuma.
Tuma?
It's not a
Tuma.
Tuma.
I want the Tuma figure. I need it now. A
Yeah,
figure.
I
He's blue. He's cool. He's got like the the underwater accessories and everything. So I figured that I'd have to have him.
I ended up like with the Build-A-Figure that I wanted the Build-A-Figure more than the figures. There's two of them, Bonebreaker and Venom Pool. Those were ones I
Oh
was
my
like, all right,
god,
I remember having Bonebreaker as a kid. I was like, I need to complete it, but I was like, I could give no shits about the wave.
that Venom pool was awesome. And there was actually what's frustrating is I found all the figures and I thought they were all cool. And for some reason, like at the time, I was like, I don't need this right now, and it's like never seen again, you know. So, but yeah, that Venom, uh, the Venom Deadpool. Whenever they finally release it, I'll definitely scoop it up.
You know they will. That's their routine now. All Build-A-Figures
It's
get re-released, better
once
paints.
I figured out they were doing that, I was like, oh, I can wait. I can be a little a little. Never mind. I wanted to think of something funny, and I thought if I kept talking, I would get there, but it didn't happen. So
The silence kicked in and took over. But
yeah,
but
I
no,
can
I
call
mean,
that.
look at they shot themselves in the foot when they're like everybody pre-ordered this $150, Mojo World pack, and then come to find out they released Mojo separate, and then they released Long Shot separate, and you're like, wow, I could buy those two for half the cost of this
Right.
special box that
Yeah.
gave
I think
barely
I'm gonna
any
get
paint
that
difference.
Mojo. That Mojo is pretty cool looking. Like it's funny because it's like a repulsive character and figure, and but something about it like it speaks to
It's,
me.
it's like
I
Slimer,
think
man. It's like Jabba the Hutt,
yeah,
you know?
yeah. I saw someone do the they did an unboxing of it, and like whenever they were showing like the abdomen
Yeah.
that was squishy, I was like, oh man, I gotta have it. It's too weird and bizarre that I can't resist.
All right, let's see what this next one is. We got some more weaponry here. I'm
So
sure
that's
it's
a
for the
weapon
next one.
set. So
Looking nice,
whenever
two different tones, the metallic like maroon and then the plastic color, which is still works. That's a
yeah,
lot of damn accessories. Is that a weapon pack?
that's a weapon pack. That's our the Chinari Armory. So whenever we did Wave One of the Kickstarter, I thought, okay, we're gonna have to have like bite-sized stretch goals that kind of help us get to the actual next figure. And so we offered headsets and these weapon sets. And I wish I would have sent them to you, but we have great photos of them, Mythic Legions and Masters of the Universe. I think some other guys holding those weapons. They look great with other figures in your collection.
I
So
mean,
we
even
thought,
with
hey,
I mean, if you're released since they're 6-inch figures, anything in that scale
right,
would look good
exactly,
holding it. And I love the
exactly.
details in the blades of the axe.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, it's funny because that's those drafting lines. You're not really sure. Hey, is that going to make it all the way through production? And so seeing that much detail came out was a relief, pun
Then we
intended.
got
So yeah, those go great with that character. That's our good guy army builder, um, and he does come with a shield and I'm sorry, a spear. There it is. So that little knife right there it's almost a I guess I would say it's a dagger because it's quite long. It's not quite a sword, but that is a Chinari dagger. So anytime you see that weapon, if it's not with one of the Chinari, they were either like honored with it or they took it off of the dead body that they killed, you know?
that's pretty cool. And that shield's badass too.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, it's funny. We sent it all as one piece, but in production, that's actually two pieces, not counting the handle.
Oh wow. So they did the head separate from the shield itself?
Right. You're not gonna be able to take it apart unless you pry it apart. But I'm glad our project manager did it because now we can do like an alternate head or something like that in the future.
Yep. And for those customizers out there that might want to pry it off, they
Right.
can do some
Exactly. Yeah.
customizing stuff
Put
to it.
something else on there. Yeah. Yeah.
Another here's another weapon pack.
That's our second weapon set. That is Cobalt Blue. And so that'll be good for our bad guy army builders, which are the Horde Ravagers.
There's the gold set that
That's our gold
we
epic
got.
set.
Art G said that he pretty sure he ordered the gold weapon set.
Yeah, man. Thank you very much. You got to treat yourself. Got to get that that gold bling. That's your epic, all your hero, uh,
Right. You
high
killed a
level
bunch of
warriors.
high
That's
end
it.
characters to melt their armor down the
Exactly.
weapons.
That's right. I think we were calling these like I had the idea of calling them like a loot packs at first, but we just wound up just weapon sets. So that's just
Ryan
something
says
that I think
when you shipping
when
laser
we
pants.
shipping. That the Harry Potter gif where he's just like never. Like when people message me, they're like, "Hey, when the figure shipping?" I just send them that gif of like Harry Potter going never. Um, so the weapon sets are going to be part of Wave 2. So what we did was everything from Wave 1 we were planning on having for Legion's Con, but we're like 3 weeks off of that, and then we're gonna send out everything from Wave 2 about a month after that, so a month and a half, give or take. So we're looking at, I'm thinking it'll probably be like sometime in December for those Wave 2. Now that is a Horrid Assassin. He will come with a second head with dreadlocks. I just realized I didn't have to
Nice.
take a picture of that. But yeah, that's our first smaller buck that we'll
Does the
be
dagger
using.
come out?
That dagger does not come out. So if you see any kind of like gear where there's like a dagger or something on there, that particular dagger won't come out, but it'll come with like when you see the weapons, it'll come with a knife. Um, and we could have done it. So that's all of his weapons. So we could have done a functioning sheath, but I made the call not to do that because it makes it so much thicker that I didn't want this like wide profile, kind of taking away from the aesthetic of the
a,
figure.
a big old plastic titty on your figures.
Right. I mean, it's one of those things where it's like, it's cool, but it wasn't exactly like what I had intended. I'm trying to think I found like the Cobra Troopers, like the classified, it works really well because it's such a small knife in comparison to this. What's funny is like if you look at it, that's a fillet knife. But
Yeah, a good.
it looks
Yeah,
mean.
that
It looks
it
weird
does
and
look
kind of
mean.
exotic.
I don't want to
So
get cut by it. But
oh,
you did.
definitely not.
But you
Like
gave his
that's
ass
more
a
for
sawed-off flintlock.
yeah. And
That's pretty cool.
so like you would hold that like this. Like you wouldn't hold it
Right.
like a regular gun you'd hold like this. You would
Yeah.
hold it like that. So
Yeah.
and you would look away because you're not sure like is this gonna blow up? It could blow up my hand, but I don't want it to blow up my face as well. So you kind of look
Right.
away when you shoot.
You're gonna have to make a character with like a metal hand or something, or a armored
That's a
up
good
hand that
idea.
after he blew his hand off from one of those. All right, so we got some gear probably for the next character.
Yeah, those are the accessories for the Horde Ravager. Comes
Let's
with two
see.
different kind of swords and our laser rifle and a helmet.
That spiked. That's straight up. It just gives me that Slash vibes from Teenage
Yeah,
Mutant Ninja
it
Turtles.
really does. We
It's
call that the
awesome.
Knuckle Buster. So all of our weapons, we have, we've named them all, but we don't necessarily name them in the like for public use. But we name them so whenever we're talking about paint apps and stuff, we know which ones we're talking about.
Koch
Um,
Create came up with a good name for that guy. Character I just mentioned. You can
what
call him Flintlock.
that's a fun idea. I like that.
or Laser Pants says Flint Loche. Like,
You know what? I'm gonna copyright. I mean, I'm gonna trademark both of those just to be safe.
because that would be cool. Because I mean, it just like you said, it's like, oh, you can blow it up. That would be cool just to have that sort of like, why is his hand like that? Because he used one of these guns and it blew his hand off.
Yep.
You know, more
All right.
weapon sets.
So this is the first weapon set that we offered during the Kickstarter. Whenever we launched the Kickstarter, I had two stretch goals unlocked right away, and this was our first weapon set, the iron weapon set. It's just an all-around great, what's the word? It's arsenal for as far as like melee stuff goes. I can think of a ton of different kind of characters that something in that assortment would go well with. So it was that and a headset, our adventure pack headset. And the reasoning behind that was like, hey, we want to get a little bit of an extra boost on that first day. And from what I remember, like I feel like it was almost 40% of backers added on that and the head pack. So that gave us a great boost on the first day.
That's good.
That is one of our first female characters. She is the right hand lieutenant of the main bad guy, Emperor Kali. Her name is Jadu, and she is a science officer. She kind of helps maintain him. He's got like an illness in the comic book, and she's also a master tactician. So she's a bad biatch. I kind of think of her as Baroness. Like whenever I hear her dialogue in my head, she doesn't have a German accent though, but like she's kind of
That
bitchy like that.
seductive voice, a little bit, sort of.
She's definitely like she's got some sort of maybe like an Eastern European accent, you know.
That's her
So
gear.
those are her accessories.
What the fuck is
So
what is this? Like
it
a
comes
ice
with an ice
pick?
pick. That's right.
And
So
she's got the sawed off flintlock too.
that flintlock is actually her weapon, but we just repurposed it for the horde assassin as well. So she comes with the little flintlock, the fillet knife, a machete, and an ice
It's
pick.
pretty cool. That fillet
And
knife is sick.
it's cool, right? Like it's funny that so that version is all black except for just the blade, the part that's sharp. And on the back of the character, she's got these little vials that they do different things in the comic book. I don't want to spoil it.
Yeah, everybody just go buy the damn comic.
There it
Read up on
is.
these figures. Go do it.
Love it.
Do it while we're loading through this stuff.
So those are the accessories for another female character named Jessa, and I'm trying to remember if Jeremy's watching. What is she called? I don't remember what kind of character she is, but I just love those steampunk pistols that she comes with.
The sword looks cool too.
Yeah, that's a great looking sword. That's actually Mala's sword, who is the matriarch of the good guy clan, the Chinari clan. Let's see. So that's her. That's Jessa. So we saw her
That's,
alternate head. This is her main head.
that's like Simba's mom, like when she
Right.
goes.
Yeah. Someone was saying Nala, which was pretty funny.
Yeah, that's
Awesome.
sweet. I love the detail, the fur sculpt and everything like that. A little bit it looks
Mhm.
like was that some sculpt for like the clothing, some
Yeah, it's
wrinkles in there.
wrinkles. It's wrinkles. Whenever we were doing the sculpt, uh, Dan showed it to me, and I was like, it looks awesome, but like her midsection is supposed to be wearing a leotard, and so he just added those little wrinkles. You could see them a lot better in person, believe it or not.
But thank
But
you for doing that though. There's so
yeah,
many figure companies out there that are like, we have this naked buck and we're just gonna paint it, and it's like you can't.
right,
You're just like it's wearing a leotard, you know.
right. It's one of those things where we try to be really focused on those little details that you might subconsciously notice it, but not necessarily. It might not scream out to you like, "Oh, hey, don't forget about this," you know. So this is our main bad guy, Emperor Kali, and he's my second favorite figure. I
Looks like
think
an
he's
asshole.
probably the most striking, like visually, like when you see it in person, you're like, "Holy crap, that's awesome!" All that gold and everything like really jumps out, and it
That
looks
stern
great.
face too.
Yeah, he's such a cranky monkey man, you know?
I mean, it's dope. I mean, that's another reason. Like, I was never like a huge like Serpentor fan as a
Yeah,
kid. I always loved Cobra Commander. It's like even though he
right,
would run away, I always still
right,
thought Cobra Commander was a badass. But Serpentor had the presence on the
right.
battlefield.
Yeah, yeah.
When
I
you
mean,
saw him, just like this character, you see him, you're like, all right, he's important.
right, exactly. Yeah, and it's kind of hard to see in the picture, but he's got a half cape. The outside is black, and the
Oh
inside
yeah.
is kind of a royal purple.
Yeah, you definitely can't. You
And
can only see this part. I'm like, I can't really see it in this picture.
yeah, it's too dark. But I think anyway, I sent Dave, who's our project manager. I sent him a Mandalorian cape, and I was like, make it squishy like this. And I tell you, like it's exactly like that. I was like, okay, thank God, because I didn't want it to, be that stiff, uh, a stiff kind of plastic that would affect you being able to pose it.
Give me 1 second here. Huh, switching this over. Everybody close your eyes. I'm gonna
So bright.
why can't I copy this? There we go. Switching it back and paste. There you go. Use that link, Josh. Use that link. Cox Create said he was looking on Big Bad Toy Store. Big Bad Toy Store says 6.5-inch Big Boy collect. This is Big Boy Collectible says 5-inch, and Spero Shop says 4-inch. So there is a 4-inch line.
Yes.
That was the first set of figures that he produced.
Yeah, and we are sold out of some of them, but we currently have a sale on the ones that we still have in stock, and they've been selling really well. So if you want to check them out, I'm sure we have pictures of them. I forgot to send you a link, but it's just sperotoys.com, and I believe it's like the 4-inch deluxe. I've been rebuilding our website behind the scenes, and it looks freaking awesome. But unfortunately, it kind of slightly breaks the functioning site that everyone sees on the front end. So those are Kali's weapons. He comes with
You didn't have to jump into the weapons. I was letting you continue talking about your website. I was just preparing.
No worries. Yeah, this is oh God, my feet are asleep. Hold on. Oh my God. Give me a second. Oh my gosh.
All right. I was saying, man, you should have got more comfortable.
Oh man.
We're already starting this shit late anyway. You could have got a little bit more comfortable.
On the toilet. Hold on a second. Let's see. I got an idea. Oh man, that's good. All right.
Yeah, if you guys are like into Ninja Turtles, Mythic Legions, Thundercats, I mean, these figures are definitely going to be up your alley. If you're into Masters of the Universe, like these are that type of figure that can just fit in with all of those and still look badass, Like I love, like these swords are awesome. I love the pistol that he has. And again, gold. He just has to have that presence when he's like, he's gonna be like taking somebody's head off. It's gonna be with the gold blade.
He's maxed out his level stats, so all his weapons are maxed out.
And who else we got? We got this.
So that is Cordoon. He is one of our Feralist, House of Feralist cats.
Now, are any of these?
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Are any of these armors like removable, swappable with other figures? Have you stepped into that realm at all with these yet? Or
so if you look at that character, literally every part of that armor is removable. If you want to take the skirting off, all the characters have briefs sculpted. So if for some reason you just wanted to like strip that particular character down to just his briefs, you could. The torso is not meant to be popped apart from the pelvis. So what you would do is you would pop off one of the legs at the hip and move that skirt down that way. The hands and feet are removable, so you would just slide that off that way. And I take it back. I think it's been so long, I can't remember. I can't remember if his biceps are removable or not. I honestly can't remember if those are not, but like for Pale,
even if they're not, I mean the gauntlets and the shoulder pads are removable.
Right. I think they might be removable. I just honestly can't remember. But like if you get Pale, who's the main character, every part of his armor will come off. So that's Cardoon's weapons.
Nice. Wait, why is it showing everybody? No, we don't want to look at it. There we go.
So this is that is Lexion. So if you look at him, everything on him except for that orange bicep is removable.
This figure is sick. This is another one I was interested in, but Judd, my moderator, he's like, this is one he got. And I was like, well, it's like, man, was like, I
I
don't want to get the
really
same
like
figure,
that
but I'm
character.
like, it's awesome. It's
Thank you very much. And you know, it's funny whenever like the last two characters you just showed, we were just like balls to the wall during the Kickstarter. We were like hurrying up and trying to get this stuff done. And our PR guy Eddie was like, I don't know if that orange. It seems like it's like really harsh compared to the rest of the figure. And I was like, just trust me. Wait till I'm finished doing it. You know. And so like after we got the photos, and he was like, okay, I take it back. It looks cool. And
yeah,
another thing, whenever you see that character in person, it looks like it's just orange, but it's also got metallic orange highlights peppered into the different pieces of it. Like the shoulder pad has uh, that metallic orange down the mohawk section of it, and towards the upper part of the forearm that has some metallic orange on it.
like right there.
And whenever you see it in person, it really pops.
All right,
That
we
sash
got
is removable as well. So
Cox
like if
Crate
you
says he's buying some of these bitches, but he also asked really quick, how long does he have to pre-order these?
so once wave one starts shipping, we are going to basically just move over to the official thespero.com website. And at that point, you're going to start getting charged for shipping. So if you want to not pay shipping, I recommend doing it sooner rather than later because, you know, within 3 weeks, I'm anticipating that it's going to be shipped from China. That doesn't count for this figure. This figure is part of wave two. So you'll have a little bit longer time as far as like your delivery. But I'm planning on just migrating everything over to I'm sorry, to our official website within the next 3 weeks to a month. Hopefully that answered your question.
And Blight part of wave one,
Blight
wave
is the
two?
first figure of wave two.
Oh, okay. So I gotta wait. I gotta wait for Blight.
That whole month and a half, man.
I don't know if I can handle it.
I
And then his
know.
weapons are cool too.
Thank you.
Like
So you
this is
know, we
what
started. I'm
this
sorry.
is
Go ahead.
what got me and Judd. We were just talking, and that's where he was like, "Yeah, I backed this," and I was like, "Oh, cool. Which one'd you get?" And then we just started like it spent like an hour just going through all
Nice.
these figures and like saying which ones we liked, why, and all that stuff. It was cool, and that's when I was like, "Man, I got to get them on my channel.
Yeah,
Show
man.
off these figures."
Thank you so much for having me. Uh, I was hoping today we'd have some stuff to show off, and a lot of it was just us like trying to dial in the eyes. They look really cool, but they're not perfect and ready to go yet. So I don't want to show anything that isn't presentable for the
Can't,
for the public.
can't be worse than McFarlane eyes.
I'm not commenting on any of that type of stuff.
Fair enough.
You
I
know,
can.
and in all honesty, it was scary seeing that real print stuff when they first started doing it on the Marvel Legends. I think the first one that I can remember was maybe the first Black Panther. I thought it looked like it was like way obvious. I was like, oh, it looks pixelated, but I feel like they've like really dialed it in now. It looks
It
really good to me.
it depends. I mean, they're doing that like with like Jigsaw. That was a Walgreens exclusive. Like that figure looks great, but if you look really close,
Is that
um,
McFarlane or
no, Marvel Legend Jigsaw,
okay?
the like from
Oh, the
Punisher.
Daredevil villain. Okay, yeah. Sorry.
Look at that.
Yeah,
I'm
I
already getting
mean,
attacked by some Tinder bots on here, but you can't
dude,
see
oh,
the
you
chat.
are?
But they're
Nice.
they're they're trying to advertise their adult dating site.
That's when you know you've made it.
but uh but yeah, so you got this figure and it looked great, but then once I was reviewing it and I got close, you just saw all the dots and I'm like,
All the
this
dots.
is gross. Like
Yeah,
it
it's funny that that's one thing where we see like cameras will like zoom way into like a toy face, and our eye can't do that. So like I try to judge it on like what can I see like in person as far as like the passability test. Like, does this look good? Me holding it in person, not zooming in with the camera. And I was doing that at first, and I was like, oh wait, what kind of realistic expectation should I be having? And I found that like when I moved to that, like, hey, does this look good in person? It like I felt a lot better about it. Um, but I really like the way Super 7 does their. It feels like everything is a paint application where like they use that specialized sponge that like it touches the image and then it touches the toy. Am I making sense? I don't know.
You're making
Um,
sense. It's just I was making a face because I'm just that company. I'm just like, mm,
oh, I can't.
mm.
You're like, I mean, look at these glasses. They're like big goggles. I meant to wear contacts, but yeah, I was waiting forever to get the big version of Mumra, and the head that I wanted had like it had like two of one snake, so it was like weird looking, and I was like, dang it, I really wanted to like display it with that head, but my OCD like it was bugging me too much, so I wound up using the other head. But anyway,
And I would have had him replace it. Like I got all the turtles. I got Casey Jones. Got
yeah.
two Toxies out of the three.
Which one's
And I mean,
toxic? Oh yeah, Toxic
Toxic
Avenger. Yeah.
Avenger.
Is it Moon glows in the dark, right?
I got the original, the one that glows in the dark. Then they did like a glow in the dark heat sensitive one, which I was like, come on, you fooled me twice. Like the figures look good, but like his mop is solid plastic. His bicep swivel couldn't support the weight of holding his mop up.
Oh, that's a bummer.
And I was like, okay, they'll fix it on the second one. Nope.
Right.
So I'm like, all right, that rubbed me the wrong way. But then also, if you start looking at it's just some of their pricing. Like if you're gonna sell me a Snarf that's like half or not even half the size of some of these figures, don't sell it to me for $55. You
Right.
know,
I mean, as a fan, it's concerning. I don't know if the IP licensing is they're just like, hey, we want all of it. So it might be something to do with that. I don't want to speculate behind their
yeah.
reasoning.
I mean, I speculate because I'm just seeing it from one
Right,
perspective, and I'm just like,
exactly.
oh,
Right. That makes sense.
but
But
But yeah, it
so
just rubs me. I'm just like, damn. I'm like, you did that with that, like Ralph Wiggum and stuff like that. But anyway, we're not even talking Super Seven. Okay, they had some cool techniques that they use for paint and whatnot. You know, that you enjoy, which is good. And
yeah.
what the
Oh man, yeah. So that's the weapons for Mala, who's our the leader of the main character's clan, the House Chinari.
he gets an ice shield and a fire blade.
Yeah, well, that's Mala's. That's hers. So that ice effect is removable, and the little flame effect is removable as well, in case you don't want that, or if you
So
want to put it on a different shield or whatever.
she, so you made her like OP, so she's like already max level.
Yeah, she will kick the crap out of you. So that's her right there. So I've been waiting to make that figure for 10 years. I can't wait till we put her up for pre-order.
That looks awesome.
So all of that armor on her is removable. Her necklace is removable. Skirt's removable. Her greaves and the arm gauntlets are removable. And she's got like a purple leotard underneath, bathing suit leotard. So that's our main character, Pale. That's our He-Man, our Lion-O, our Leo, our Duke. Did I miss anyone? Did I leave
I
anyone out?
I no, I don't think you did. You know,
So all of that armor on him will be totally removable, and he'll
I mean,
have like red briefs underneath.
I could just see him and Blight going at it though. Like I
Yeah,
just see like
that's how he's introduced. I think I said page 18, but I think it might be page 17. But they definitely have a nice little showdown in issue 3
now
and
this is
4.
this is a totally off subject and totally well that's not it's sort of on subject. How can you make character like monkey warriors and not have poop as a weapon?
Oh
Are
my
you
gosh, yeah, that's one of those things where we might have to do some sort of convention exclusive
there's a
where he's
that
got
could be another character that fights people with poop.
a
like a
poop
gas
accessory.
mask or some sort of steampunk
Exactly.
gas mask type of character.
It's like come for the poop and stay for the sapien horrible disease that you got from the poop.
There you go. I was just thinking of like how the Supernaturals. I don't know if you remember Supernaturals from the 80s.
Was that
You
the? I don't remember those. I was thinking of the
they took they,
Visionary. Was the
maybe
Supernaturals a hologram stuff?
yeah.
Man,
Yeah,
those
yeah.
scared the crap out of me as a kid.
They had
Like,
like these little like smaller versions that looked like
yeah,
little like
that's what I had.
the little gnome looking type of
Yeah.
ones that, and I was like, that's what I just pictured, like some like orangutan with like some steampunk gas mask that has like poop
Right.
weaponry or something.
Dude, those creeped me out. Like I remember I had the Visionary. I had several Visionaries, but Fear that had like his staff had like this spider on it, and on the belly it had this face. I was like that, and like it scared the crap out of me. I remember uh trying like I put it under my parents under the wheel of the car so we'd like run it over it on the way out of like on the way to school, and that didn't work, and that freaked me out. And I think I wound up just throwing it away just to like get it out of the house.
All right, so we got more comments. Art G said, Jason, will you have samples of the females to show at Legion's Con?
We're gonna have paint masters, but they won't be posable. So you'll be able to see what they're gonna look like, but you won't be able to like move their arms and legs and play with their boobs and stuff.
And then, oh,
I just
naked
got you.
monkey chicks. He's it.
Na, 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 na.
Cox Create says, all jokes aside, these figures are awesome. I'm so glad we have so many new figure companies making cool shit.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it. Yeah, I mean, it's one of those things where we can joke around, but it's important as like as a culture to enjoy nostalgic stuff and love nostalgic stuff, but we need to start and continue to create new things and try out new things. Even if it's not going to catch on, we like owe it to ourselves to like keep creating and trying new things. And it's funny, like I just saw an advertisement for a comic book you probably or you might have seen it in the 90s called The Darkness, and I was like, man, that was such a cool comic. And it came out around the same time as Spawn, and Spawn has lived on, and the Darkness has kind of like gone, kind of back in, or we've kind of lost it with time. But it was cool to see those new IPs coming out in the 90s. And a lot of times in the morning my dad and I will go and pack our orders, and sometimes we'll stop by Walmart or Target or something like that to get boxes and tape and stuff. And I remember we went down the toy aisle, and I was like, let's go down the toy aisle. And it was like more than 70% of everything in the toy aisles were IPs that were like 30 years old, 20 years old. I think the newest thing we found was Fortnite. And after that, it was like maybe Pokemon or something. So it's like, I feel like we're at a great time to start introducing new IPs, especially Action Force, Mythic Legions. Um, there's something called Future Soldiers that are coming out. I'm trying to Plunderlings. All those are like really great, cool IPs that get people excited and make people feel like, oh, hey, we're not just enjoying our nostalgic stuff.
I think Plunderlings definitely helped put that spark and sort of woke
Oh,
me up
it
to a lot of
really
these
did. Yeah,
creators out here, Action Force
yeah,
and stuff like that. And that's why, I want to use my platform and my channel and be like, I want to reach out and I want to bring some attention to these figures that people might overlook because it's getting
right,
drowned out by all this
exactly.
extra, the shit that we've seen 30 million times,
Right.
you
Yeah, man,
know?
I really appreciate it. And like you said, those big IP, those big companies have whole departments of people that are just like, it's funny, like I make the analogy where like Homer goes to hell and they keep like shoving the donuts in his mouth, the marketing almost feels like that at a certain point. You just like, okay, I need to take a step back and maybe look around and see what else is out there. And so it's an exciting time to be doing these indie toys or these boutique toys. And don't get me wrong, I mean, like my ultimate goal would to be, have them at big box stores where they're easily and readily available, and the comics and the hopefully a cartoon is all out there and easy to get a hold of and not have to hunt so much for.
Skew Raider said a 2-pack ish and giggles. I don't.
What?
I don't know.
That's what the name should be.
I guess. And then Cox Create said, "Dude, as cool as these look, I don't see how these won't catch on.
Yeah, I mean,
Um,
I really hope they
like
do.
a legion of these would be a cool fight against a legion of mythics."
I would absolutely love to do that. And whenever we were designing stuff, thank you by the way. Whenever we were designing stuff, one of the things that uh, was part of the art direction was I want this stuff to look unique, but I also want it to look great in people's collections. And I feel
Yeah.
like, seeing the product, the final product, that I feel like we have achieved that where it stands on its own, but it's going to look really great next to your other figures in your collections.
Yeah, we can't forget, I guess, Savage Crucible as well. I forgot about those
Exactly.
guys.
Yeah, Savage Crucible's coming out. I knew I was like having a brain fart. I was like, man, there's like another really awesome series that's coming out. So
And then
I think whenever people see that come out, I mean, I get to see some of the little paint stuff behind the scenes, and I know some of it's already been shown, but they have really fantastic stuff that's going to be coming out very soon or being debuted soon. What's
no,
that say?
Cox
I want
Create.
to read it, but
He
my
said,
eyes are too bad.
"No, you're good. You're good." It says Cox Create says Spero an East Coast company as well.
We are Central Time, and that's actually why I was late. I was thinking we were doing this at 8 o'clock my time, but it was actually 7 o'clock. So I
Wait,
was
how
up
are you
so late.
Central?
What's that?
You're Central Time?
Yeah, I'm Central Time.
But I'm in
So
Maryland. I'm in Eastern Time.
you were definitely in Eastern Time.
Oh,
And yeah, I just got mixed up. I don't know why. Like, so I think this is why I think I got it mixed up. So whenever we moved out to the country, we had like one of those old school satellites, and we wouldn't necessarily worry. We couldn't DVR back then, but we had satellites that we could move to like Central Time. I mean, not Central. I'm sorry, East Coast, Mountain, and then West Coast. And I'm stuck on like Mountain Time for some weird reason, even though I don't live in Mountain Time.
it's all good.
Anyway,
Skew Raider did say 2-pack of poo slinging characters, to be clear. Yeah, that's what he was talking about.
okay, I like it. Con exclusive.
There you go. And they even have real smell to them, like get it in the plastic, some of that poop or
It'll
like
have like
fart
little
spray
bits
stuff.
of poop in it. It'll remember how like the Stinkler had like patchouli like poured into
Yeah,
the
just
plastic.
spray it with that fart spray. And you
Yeah, no, it's gonna be the real poo juice.
oh geez.
So that is Pale's accessories that we're looking at right now.
Those daggers look mean.
The little curved daggers. Our artist came up with that design, and I was like, oh, I mean, I know that's a blade, but like worked it into the style of the characters. And I
And the
saw
thing's
them,
gonna
like, oh
hook in
man,
this like it's gonna cut somebody's stomach open and just spill it
oh yeah,
all.
definitely.
Got some more.
It looks great in the figure's hands, so that's kind of hard to see, but hmm. Oh, so that is our rabbit's accessories. He makes his debut in issue 3 as well.
Okay, which is right here.
There he is. That's him. So his ears right there are very kind of statically posed, but the production version is going to have ball jointed ears, so you'll be able to kind of give them a little bit more personality if you want to have them back or kind of
Nice.
have like one cockeyed or whatever. But whenever
I
people
like the
see that
whole.
one, I'm sorry, I talked over
I
you.
was saying I just like the whole presence of them. Just gives
Oh,
off like
thanks.
that a Link vibe with that green. You
You
know.
know, whenever we decided to do the rabbit, I was like, okay, we can't have it look like I forget it. Oh, Yogi Osaki, is that how you pronounce it?
Oh, Yosagi Yojimbo.
Yes, thank you. I was like, okay, it cannot be any colors like that. So I thought, well, we don't have any green colored characters yet, so let's do like a green palette. And like you said, like that Robin Hood, I just absolutely love the Disney Robin Hood. in the 60s. So I guess I kind of went with a little bit of influence from that. And he is an
That's so
archer,
neat.
so
Yeah, that's even crazier. I can just imagine him doing like some crazy leaping in the air with his
right.
bunny jump, like range, like shooting some people with arrows and stuff like that. But I like the texture in the actual armor and
Oh,
everything.
thank you. Yeah, like if I mean, I don't think you could tell when you zoom in, but it's got this really nice.
Yeah,
It's
zoom in
almost
there
like
for
a reptile skin on his armor.
yeah,
That
you can see it like right here.
okay. Um, so now, if you look at that figure, all the armor comes off except for the bicep on his left arm. That green bicep is going to be glued on. But we sent the factory a naked bicep, so in the future we might have characters that are built with that body that don't necessarily have that glued on. And project manager mentioned that he wants to do a split in that foot so that we'll have like an ankle, or not an ankle, but like a midfoot articulation.
But Charles wants to know, does the rabbit have a tail?
You know what? None of the characters have a tail as of now. Um, that character right there, that body has we have a kangaroo design for that body. And I think we're going to start introducing tails of some sort with that kangaroo character, but he does not currently have a
Yeah, he
tail.
tucks it. He tucks it.
I mean, that thing is so far up his beehole, he doesn't even
Right.
know it's there anymore.
We got one
So
of the
that is our second army builder. That's our bad guy army builder, the Horde Ravager. And he does come with a helmet, but I decided to just take press photos without the helmet because I wanted that nose detail to really kind of show up.
does he have a red butt?
You know what? You'll have to buy the figure to find out.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Peel that skirt up and have a nice little
let me
spread.
let me look at that baboon
That's
ass.
right.
You know. But no, I think this looks awesome, and I'm glad that you said he comes with the helmet because I was like, oh man, I saw the other one, and I was like,
Right.
this
Yeah.
is the only thing that's missing is the helmet because I
Right.
love the design on the armor,
Thank you.
and now I got to get him to go with Blight, you know, because I'm hate I'm even though the main villain looks super cool, I just feel like Blight is the main villain for me because he just looks awesome. Or he could be like, you know, the Knuckles, the Sonic and Knuckles, you know, where
Right.
he's like in the middle, you know.
So if you like, so Kali is very much of like a tactitional type leader. He does clash with Pale throughout the comic, you know, or this first story arc. Um, and he really kind of kicks the crap out of Pale their first encounter, and then it's more of like a stalemate the second time, and then he's gonna start delegating other warriors to kind of go out and do his dirty work for him. So Blight will be kind of like the first foray into sending out other champions to kind of do his bidding for him, so he doesn't have to get his hands dirty as much.
Nice, nice. And then you got the big mother. This is the one that a lot of people were stoked about, and a lot of
Oh, the
people
big
I know
boy,
got this
the big chunky boy.
big old Thane.
Now that
That's
figure looks cool on screen, but whenever you see it in person, you're like, "Whoa, that is like a big, beefy toy." Um, so we were talking about the torso engineering on the other characters. This one's engineering from what we were talking about on the phone, or I was talking to the project manager on the phone. Is it's less complex. This one doesn't have the butterfly joints that the other one does. So it's got a different kind of makeup for it. I'm excited and interesting to see how it turns out. I don't think that
so
particular
it's not going to be
prototype.
like this. It's a all upgraded, basically updated from this.
Well, it's visually going to look exactly the same, but
The
we designed it.
articulation's better.
Well, no, it's going to be. I think it's got an articulated neck action added to it, but so we designed that particular figure right there to be hard PVC like the other characters. It's going to have a little bit more of like a softer plastic over a PVC construction. So, but I mean, unless you tear the character or tear the toy apart, you won't really have any idea that it's even been
Oh,
modified.
okay. Yeah, that's awesome. I love the dents in the armor. He's just a big old chunky boy.
I cannot wait to get that figure. I do have. So I think I've printed and painted that figure 4 times now, um, and I have one at the house, and it's so cool to kind of like look over because it looks like the final product, but it's it's not articulated or anything. So like I want to be able to. A lot of times when I'm working, I have like toys around my work area, and if I'm like talking on the phone or doing something where it's intense, like I'll take a figure and kind of pose it around and play with it so that I don't get uh, too distracted where like I want to start playing or surfing on the internet while I'm having a toy discussion, you know?
Right. I mean, that's sort of like how I guess in a way I am too. If I'm not doodling something, I'm playing around, messing around with action figures, but you
Right.
like having that space where you're just surrounded by inspiration
Right,
and
exactly,
is always
exactly.
good.
Uh, Hopefully his weapons are next because his hammer is almost there. It is. So he's got his alternate head right there. So that helmet is not removable. So our idea was like, well, we'll do a different expression with his helmeted head, and he comes with the alternate hands that have the brass knuckles, and that hammer is almost as tall as a regular figure. So
Jeez.
it's like right around 6.5 inches tall. It's such a cool accessory. It can be displayed like that, but it's got several angles to it, so you can almost put it vertical, or you could put it at an angle. We did a convention where it was like at an angle, which looked really cool because it almost looked like it was like defying gravity. But the head of the hammer is heavy enough, to where it would stand up. And the regular
Gotcha.
figures can hold it as well. It's just a heavy piece of plastic. So that is Tiberius from Wave One. Let's see, yeah. So
Oh,
that's our first
what did
Tiger
I just
figure.
do? What did I just do? I just ruined it all.
You press the
Mm,
button.
I did. I gotta go find it. There we go. I was all zooming and shifting it around and all that type of stuff, but there you go. So now, so wave one, you can people get a hold like pre-order through anything, or is that just sort of
Yeah. So so the link that we've been sharing, you can pre-order most of the stuff that we've been showing off, Wave One and Two.
okay?
Um, we'll be. I don't want to offer anything else for pre-order until Wave Two is shipped. So that is Tiberius's weapons: crossbow, a throwing hatchet, and a big old mace.
Nice.
But yeah, they can pre-order him. He's part of Wave One.
And that makes sense. I mean, start getting some of the figures in people's hands, get some reactions
Right.
before you start like, hey, let's.
Right. Yeah.
This
Uh,
is a cool set.
okay, so those weapons are part of Vero Atlas. That little magic staff is so cool in person. The little glow, the jewel is,
That's what
clear.
grabs my eye the most is that
Oh my
little.
gosh. I love that accessory. Um, I have a couple of factory. So that's Vero. That's our Kickstarter exclusive. We have a very limited number left. I th- what I think they're currently on most websites. I'm gonna burp. Excuse me. On most websites, they are listed as sold out. We're gonna get a limited number with the shipment, and what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna randomly offer a limited amount once a week on our website until they're sold out. That way, someone doesn't just like buy 20 of them and list them on eBay.
Guys, they're all gonna go to me, and then I will put,
I'll just send them directly to you. I'll just have the factory forward them straight to you.
and then I'm gonna open up a Thunderdome, and you guys got to battle for
Yeah.
it. I mean,
Oh, wait, what's this? That's funny. Look, So you can't see that, but I set a timer so I wouldn't forget, and it just popped up like it was like, hey, don't forget about the podcast that you're supposed to do.
And then here we got these all sort of lined up multi shots.
So that's going to be,
Oh,
let's
this
see
is
here.
waves 1 and 2
So
all together.
so that's wave 1 and 2. Yeah.
That's a nice spread.
Yeah.
I ain't gonna lie. That's a nice spread of figures.
It's, it's
And
kind of
you're
surreal to me still looking at that we like unlocked or funded that many cool figures on our first outing. Uh, we planned on doing 6 of them, and we wound up doing 5 more on top of that. So I was a happy camper.
and your
Um,
use of your reuse of things and different painting on them. I mean, it works too.
yeah,
So
I mean, it's kind of a tried and true method and tradition in the toy making world. So my goal was utilize that strategy, but make everything feel new and exciting with each release. Um, and yeah, so whenever that second wave is delivered, we're going to offer our next thing, which is going to be a role playing board game called Primal Battle. And we're going to offer, it's going to come with an exclusive figure, and it's also
that's
going to be
what Authority
offered.
Figures working on with you, right?
Exactly. So yep. So Authority Figure actually created the game mechanics for it, and we're going to be demoing it
Because
at
he's a
Legion
fucking
Con.
nerd.
Oh my God! And have you smelled him in person? My God! Holy
No,
crap!
no, but no. That's I thought it's a great idea. I mean, you're talking to somebody that I played, D&D trading card games. I played Hero Clicks before, like just the good board games that actually take time and are fun to play. That you have to spend an hour to learn the rules. Like those are the games that I prefer versus like I'm gonna play some Uno, or some
If you're not doing the
Monopoly.
PC dance by the time you set up all your characters, are you even really playing?
Exactly. And I mean, I'm so glad that, Hasbro brought back Hero Quest. And it's like sad part
Oh,
is like a lot of people probably aren't even gonna try it out or even get it. Like,
so the statute of limitation has to have passed by now. But so I remember when Hero Quest first came out, and there was this crappy Target in town, and someone had opened a Heroes Quest box, and so like every time we'd go to that Target, like I would just like put my hand in and like feel around for like one of the minis and like just take one. And I think I had like 5 of them, and they were like coveted. It was like the Barbarian, the big main guy that was like this big scary demon, a little troll, and I can't remember what else. Maybe it was an orc. I had like 4 of them, but I was just like, I wanted the board game, but at the time it was like, oh, it's too devilish. Like I grew up in the South, so it was like satanic scare in the 80s and 90s. And
it was
I did wind up buying the board game eventually. I think I got it at like a flea market or a garage sale or something, but it was like way later on. Anyway, that was my. Oh wait,
oh,
I want to
that's
say one more
perfect.
thing. I've only actually played Dungeons and Dragons twice, and it was so fun both times. Like I realized, like when stuff started going wrong, it made it so much more fun. Like for me, I should have just played. I think I was. I don't remember even what kind of character I was, but I should have just been a bard both times because I was like, whenever stuff started going bad, I was like, oh my God, this is getting way more fun.
Yeah, then you would have liked to you would have enjoyed playing games with me. Like when I played D&D, I was always the one that would do the weirdest crap and always cause a lot of like trouble. And then usually the dungeon master would get mad because I'd be doing something totally ridiculous.
Right.
Um, but it's fun. That's this type of stuff that makes it fun. I can't play like a D&D game and be super serious and be like I'm playing Skyrim or something. Like, come on.
Right. Yeah, so we're going to be demoing the board game at Legion's Con. Um, we're super excited about it. Jeremy and I became friends. He kind of pitched the idea to me, and I was like, "Shut up, I'm in. No, let's do this." And he did give me the pitch, and I was like, listen, I'm very much a novice at this, and I want it to be something that's not too intimidating, but still really fun, and that we can kind of build on and look at making it a little bit more expansive with what's it called? With expansion packs. And I really feel like just like seeing what we have so far that we have achieved that. So it'll be really exciting to see people try it out. Next month at the beginning of the month. I think I'm going to try and do like a live feed to where people can see it that aren't able to make it, and yeah, we'll see what happens.
We got Judd said he's in on the Thunderdome for that figure.
Oh yeah,
And
okay.
then
We have
Cox Freak said as soon as these go up on your Spero shop, post on your Instagram so I can get some.
Yeah, I absolutely will. So like if you go on our on my Instagram page right now, we have just like a pre-order link. But as soon as they go live on the website, I'll just edit my my bio to where it's just like a little click and you're good to go. I'm also probably going to update the store that's built into Facebook and Instagram to where the products are you don't have to actually exit the app to do it. And we are also going to have an Amazon storefront, which is pretty much built out. We just haven't gone live yet. So there should be plenty of places to get it. If you like to do the pile of loot on Big Bad, please feel free to take advantage of that. I do that all the time. Like I got to notice that like my pile of loot is finally going to be shipping out. I've been patiently waiting. I got the Crimson Guards. I got 2 Crimson Guards.
Be
Blue
careful.
Marvel. What's that?
Careful with those Crimson Guards, man. I got my 3. They're right in front of me, but 2 of them have gappy biceps.
Gappy biceps and loose crotches.
No, not loose crotch. Let me see if I have it. Which one is this? The horrible one? One of these is the horrible one. I got to figure out which one it is.
So, you know what's funny? There is the NECA gargoyles at my local Walmart, and in the box it looks like the bicep pin. It looks like this part of the bicep, has like a split in it. I
can't. This bicep.
Huh?
Look at the gap.
Oh yeah. I wonder why there's that's like the shoulder to the bicep. I wonder what's going on.
Here, I'll go full screen really quick. I'll remove you temporarily.
What happened?
Right, here you go. There we go. So there you go. You can really see it. So
oh wow.
It's like it's sort of like a normal one.
Right.
This is what it looks like, right?
Yeah.
This one, it's gapped a little, but look at that.
Oh wow. Yeah, you know what? It probably cooled a little bit weird, and it just happens.
I think it was just the shipping container, the heat, something could have messed it up.
Yeah.
So I'm like, even though they're gappy, I didn't want to send them back yet.
He's gonna be in the background.
Right. So all right. So I'm wasting spending a lot of time with you. I don't want to keep you on here all night, but we're gonna throw in. We got some new pictures. I ganked these off of your socials, and can I do like a screen?
Oh, yeah.
There we go. So I grabbed these because these sort of show off the articulation a little bit.
Right. Yeah.
And I thought it was pretty important for people to see it.
Yeah,
I think some of these have temporary body parts.
Yeah, so I mean, like that whole thing is temporary. Excuse
shit.
So, but that's okay because it shows off the range of motion. So in other words, like they're not even test shots. They're prototypes where they're not using. Well, actually, that's got some finished armor on it, and those are finished weapons. But you can see the dynamic poses you can get out of them. That's one thing I figured out. Like seeing other people in the toy community that I don't know how to pose my figures. Like mine are just like this, just like standing there. So that one's got some finished parts on it. Some armor's finished. The chest piece looks finished. Skirting. So
nice.
Yeah, that's
so like boss man himself.
Like nothing on there is that's all just like plastic that they had nearby. You can
Right.
see that you can get really cool poses with it.
Yeah, and that's why I wanted to grab these ones is because of the
Yeah,
posing that you did with these figures is it just shows it. Like
right.
that's something I
So
feel
much
like a lot of
personality.
people like, come
Right.
on, that right there.
Put the Conan music right on top of that.
Right? That shot, like it's nice to be able to have this type of articulation out of these figures because
Exactly.
you don't get that. And especially this pose. This
Right.
pose I was
Oh my
blown away
god,
with.
that blew me away. I was like, holy crap, because like you know we built all kind of articulation in, but you don't really know until you have a physical product. So whenever Dave like posed it like that, I was just like, oh, exceeded expectations. I didn't send you the image, but I did PowerCon. I think it was like a month and a half ago, and Shartimus did like Pale like balancing on one foot, and I was like, I'm so bad at posing stuff, but like it was this awesome pose that he just like threw together really quick, and I was like, okay, at least I know he can do that now, you know.
Yeah, there's a lot of
And that one
content
didn't even
creators
have
that can post stuff like Jay Hernandez, one of them does some really good
right.
posing, but then D Amazing is ridiculous too. It's just like bah, 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 I got him in this martial arts pose. Like, wait a second, what? How'd you do that? Just like with like
They
a
need to
second. I didn't even see your fingers move.
they need to offer a master's class on how to pose stuff.
But yeah, just it's like sort of like what you're saying, sort of having that figure in front of you and constantly messing
Right.
with it, you know?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, just good presence, good shelf presence. And there you go, balancing on one foot right there.
So that's how I pose all my figures, not like that. Look, so yeah, that one's got it. I want to show off my my shirt real quick. So we're gonna have this is our
And
the
I'm gonna
Canary
go. We
crest.
gotta get you. So we gotta make you full screen by
Yeah,
yourself.
do
There you
full
go.
screen. So this is the Chinari crest. This is the good guys crest. And let's see if I can. And we have the logo on the back. I don't know if you can see that. Anyway,
Yes.
so we're gonna have some shirts at the at Legion's Con. So we'll have like the 4 crests that are shown so far in the comic book. Anyway, I just wanted to say that. Sorry, I
No,
derailed
you're
you.
good. You're good. You got show that merch, man. Now here's the question: Are they gonna be? Are they fat people friendly? You know.
Absolutely, yeah. I'm one of them.
So that's good because I always it's like when places are like, man, I got these shirts, and then you go in there, you're like, I need this size, and they're like, now we only get we go extra large, is our biggest, and you're like, what?
You gotta cater to the body sizes, man.
Right? More shots. That looks like a finished shield.
Yeah, that shield's definitely finished. It looks like his greaves are finished as well.
So anything that has like the paint on it is usually like the finish, the stuff that.
So in this particular production, usually there's like a line item of like a schedule that we want to try to hit, or like we're like, okay, we got to get all the eyes in the locked down, we got to get all the hand paint locked down, and then but right now we're just kind of doing like anything that we can get done that isn't waiting on another part, we're just doing it. So where we're at right now is like a lot of the body parts are all done. From what I understand, we just got the torso molds. They'll probably be at the factory by the end of this week, and so then they'll start moving on to that. But we're just trying to get everything done that we can while we're waiting on that last torso section. We're waiting on the Black Lion from Voltron to make the whole body.
So Skurator said, glad they're not mediums only.
Oh my god, dude! I wore
Chud says,
small.
do you offer AARP discounts?
We offer IOU discounts.
And then Charles Mason says, I need the rabbit and boss ape. Reminds me of Link and Ganondorf. Already got a few things in my cart. Laugh out loud.
There you go. Hey, listen, you work too hard not to treat yourself, so
There you go. And plus, figures don't take up that much space, you know.
Exactly. Plus, whenever the wife is like, I want to buy 2 pairs of shoes, you're like, hey, I got these figures that last, for 20 years, so it evens
if not
itself.
Longer, you know.
You don't negotiate with your own money.
Look at
oh
that.
look, I snuck in, and oh no, that was Dave that snuck in that Action Force stand.
Hey
They have
guys,
like
Action Force stands work with
hands down the best
animal work.
stands, like period. Like they have the best stands. Like whenever I got my figures and I was just like, F word, those are good.
They're good. I like them because they do what they need to do. It's just like you got to still have that shelf space for it. They're not like
Mhm.
excessively massive like a Mezco stand, but it's like I would like to have an option of a smaller
Right.
version.
So those stands are big, right? Like, and you're talking about the shelf stuff. So what I did with mine was I like to have like display like 5 figures at a time.
Ooh, do you share
So
a
like
stand with multiple figures?
exactly, yeah. So that's what I did with mine.
Yeah.
That's why I like it because I can get them like in close and like have some of them like not in the prone position, but like when they're like on one knee, like it works out good for having them all like kind of like in a tight unit.
Yeah, I'm a dumbass and didn't even think of doing it that way. I'm like, oh,
Or like
it just dawned on me when you're about to say it. I'm like, oh shit, that's a good idea.
those extra peg holes, I'm like, oh man, like that's what I'm gonna use it for. I love that pose right there.
That pose is sick.
Like that's
See,
the
now,
pose
now I
that
got it.
actually
Now
like
I
slice someone into like an X. It's like a melon.
yeah, that just looks badass.
Thank you. It's so
More. And
cool.
then here we go, everybody.
Oh my god, here we
Everybody,
come. Oh
here you
wait,
guys go. Everybody take that. That goes right to that site. Save that site. If you guys haven't seen it
screen
the whole
capture.
time, you know, screen cap it, take a picture right now. We'll just keep it up right now while we're talking.
Yeah,
We're
that
pretty
works.
much at the end, you know. And if people have questions too for myself, Jason, you know, about these figures, you know, start throwing them down. Because yeah, we'll be happy to
Yeah,
answer and
absolutely.
respond, except for the AARP discount, you know. Um, but yeah, go everybody screen cap this. And I'll be linking all these sites and stuff down below so you guys can be able to get a hold of them. And I'm sure once I hear down in the collecting world when he drops those exclusives and when he has like two of them, you guys gotta, you know, sacrifice your firstborn, your parents, you know, all that good stuff just to get a hold of one. But
Instead of sitting
you
in like
know,
5 flag points, you're just sitting in like 5 digits. But you pick 5 digits. Is it hand digits or toe digits? It doesn't matter. It just has to be five. It has to be from you.
So Charles got a question, but I think this one, Charles, they're still in process
Yeah,
of
we're,
like
we're
wave.
in production right now.
They're in production. So if you ordered, you know, you just oh, he said rough estimate. um, so if you
Soon.
pre-order it, you're probably I would say because you said we were off by 3 to 4 weeks, so
Yeah. I'd say like for wave
December.
one, let's just say December for wave one.
There you go. The rabbit and
We're gonna
other
offer that
both for
for
wave two.
pre-order in the summer.
No, rabbit's wave three.
The rabbit is actually wave four.
Four?
So
Shit.
there's some stuff that there's some I probably didn't send you. Uh, so like the next wave is the after wave two is the primal battle wave, and then we're gonna do the gladiators wave, which I must not have sent you pictures of, and then we're gonna offer the I'm sorry, I got a brain for it. Primal's gonna be like right after wave one's delivered, and then the gladiator wave is gonna be in the spring, and the rabbit wave will be in the summer.
So there you go. That's your rough estimate, Charles. And
Yeah,
then you could just always poke me with the stick too and be like, "Hey, any word on these? Any word on
yeah,
that?" And I could always help too. So you guys can always reach out to me.
yeah, absolutely.
Therefore, Jason's not getting bombarded with shit like that. Like, where's my fingers? When they coming out? I pre-ordered
Where
them.
are
I've
they?
been
Where
waiting too
are
long
the
for them.
turtles? Where are they? I ate them.
But
Okay.
because I mean, everybody delays happen, and I know it could be like, damn
Yeah, I
it,
mean,
damn it, but it
it's one
happens.
of those things where like name like a toy line that hasn't had a delay right now. We're dealing with a lot of interesting stuff going on around the world, so um, we're just kind of making the best of it.
Yeah, is that is true. And I mean, look at let's use Action Force example. I mean, Action Force had its delays, and you know we
Right.
got that first wave in, and there was some tweaking that needed to be done, but he did it, and then now we're getting stuff. that moves like butter. Like you got the Night Op Steel Brigade and stuff like that.
Right.
You know, it, it's a process, and
I'm
it's not
glad
like
he's offering like some of the stuff. Like I kind of slept on the regular Swarm Troopers. I'm glad he's re-offering that type of stuff.
yeah with
Uh,
the
like I
what was
like
it?
the Scarab. Like spoke to me a lot more, but like I regretted not getting the regular Swarm. So I'm glad he's re-offering.
Yeah, I got a Scarab, I got a Swarm, and I got the BotCon exclusive Swarm.
Who,
They're,
oh,
they're
who's the character for that's the Dark Side Dark Dork Toys exclusive? It's almost looks like it's like an Australian camo. That one looks freaking cool.
Yeah, that one's with it's like a desert ops type of
Yeah,
guy.
yeah. It's that one's really cool. I wanna get a couple of those.
But yeah, those it again, it's just a company that shows that hey, it started with that rough start, and then now it's like even with the rough start
Right.
was still way ahead of other companies that have been doing it for years.
Well, that I mean,
So
like that. I mean, that is an ambitious figure. Like the articulations very similar to the GI Joe classified. Like that pelvis is a freaking nightmare to try to figure that out. So them nailing that, I thought was really awesome. I saw that they modified the vest, which like it fits a lot more snug now. Like on the new versions, have you seen that?
yeah, yeah.
Uh, what's funny is like I didn't even really think there was a problem with it, but then whenever like they showed the updated version, I was like, okay, cool, yeah, like that looks a lot better. Like I hadn't really noticed it,
I
but
think I
I think there's something.
had the hiccup with a couple. I think it was Condor's vest, a couple of them, but I mean, it wasn't
Right,
something that I couldn't just get a paintbrush, heat it up, and
right,
stretch the hole a little bit,
yeah,
put it back in there, and then it just sort of shrunk back down.
yeah,
Ninja Turtles helped me with that. How many Ninja Turtle belts were
right,
falling off all the time, or even like the
right,
3 3/4
exactly.
GI Joe little belts and stuff that they had.
It's funny, like the Pursuit of Cobra, all those vests were like so awesome, but like you said, like depending on like if the male end was like on the vest or on the part that was like closest to the torso, it made it like super hard to put together.
Pursuit of Cobra is the last best 3 3/4 line
Holy
that they
crap! It was
that they
like
did.
it was the goat. Like I remember the first one that I got was the Toys R Us exclusive Spirit Iron Knife, and I was like, "Whoa, that's a game changer! Holy crap!" And then it just kept getting better.
I
Those
got
are
them on my
like I have
wall
like a
right
ton
over
of them.
there.
Those are dude,
I
those are
got my whole
coveted.
Pursuit
Like
of Cobra
holy
is
crap,
covered my wall.
they were so good.
But nowadays, the collectors out there that cry when anything's different from the original source. So who's to say we're gonna get some of those cool looking figures? I say this every time somebody brings up Pursuit of Cobra because there's a Moneybags Destro that came out and he came in full on
Dude,
like flak armor with the minigun and a briefcase full of money from different countries.
I never got that
That's
figure. I really wanted that figure. I have like a bunch of the Iron Grenadiers, but I never found that particular character. Uh, I think they're really kind of focusing on that raw era right now. Uh, I
yeah. We'll
I
see,
feel
but I
like
feel like people are
I feel
already,
like the
go ahead.
I, I like that like the gung ho that they came out with the first one. That's like I love that modern version. I think it looks great. I know he's got the wrong hat, but I'm willing to look past that. Uh, I wasn't super crazy about the Duke, but it wasn't the design, it was the color choices, like the red on the gloves and stuff. I thought was odd, but then they fixed it with the repaint, so I was happy with that. I thought the Storm Shadow that they came out with was awesome, but I kind of actually prefer the video game version, the one that's got like a full sleeve tattoo.
Yeah, that they didn't
I
make,
hope
which
they
would have
still
been
make it.
cool. I
I
hope
have
they
a
do
feeling they
too.
made it, but they haven't released it.
But that the remake of Gung Ho is still pretty good. I
Yeah, it looks
mean,
awesome.
you can have it with the other. Like I'm just going to use the older gung ho as another character, just like the other Roadblock. What for me, I
Right.
classified it as heavy duty.
Yeah.
So
Right. Yeah,
never
totally.
have
Yeah.
enough background background
Exactly.
figures or
Exactly.
primaries.
Right. Absolutely.
So all right, let's see. Da. Oh, Charles saying it's my figures and I need them now. Let's
Do it
see. Judd
now.
said, yeah, but Action Force were supposed to be perfect, better than anything on the market. Be careful what you preach was the lesson learned. I mean, as you know, somebody that's creating something that they're passionate about it, I guess it could be very easily, you know, be like, I'm gonna be the best at this. Like you gotta
Right.
have that sort of mentality to that drive.
Yeah, I mean,
But
you gotta go for the gold. You want to be. You don't want to come in second place. You know, you gotta. Uh,
you know,
what's the word?
and there
Your
were things
attitude.
that he wasn't even expecting too. I mean, it's but he was course correcting, you know.
Yeah,
But
I mean,
I'm
like you
enjoying
also have to
Action Force,
consider
you
like
know, but I
he
get
was
how
like.
people can. Oh, go ahead.
I'm talking over you. I'm sorry.
No, you're good. Go ahead.
I mean, that production run was like right all up in the butthole of like the COVID outbreak. So uh, that just that alone, on top of the actual production itself, presented a lot of hurdles that you had to jump over, you know, get through and get past. So, and like I said, that's a very ambitious project. Him making sure that all the knife sheath and everything worked. That's all. That's like really. There's so many little details and
See,
stuff you have to get.
and you get to see that from a different perspective too, versus like just being a consumer.
Right. Yeah. I mean, like it's funny where like I had thought about going into film and like seeing how much goes into making a film. It's like a freaking little mini miracle seeing that happen. And so like I kind of think of like making a toy production along those lines where like when you're behind the scenes and seeing all the little details and then the obstacles that you have to try to get through, it's hard not to be impressed and admire someone else doing what you're doing. And that's but I try to do that double-edged sword where like if I see something that I think should be addressed or fixed, like can and be objective about it, and not be too much of like on one side or the other, you know, as far as like collector or and fan or a producer. Am I still live? I'm gonna pee in this cup right now and no one can stop me. Here I go. Ready? I'm doing it. What's going on? It's saying that I'm still alive. Am I live? Am I alive? Am I? What is life? What is alive when you're living a life of the livingness? Well,
Look at me. I'm back.
he's back.
My whole thing just restarted out of nowhere, and I'm like, "Are you freaking shitting me?"
Windows was like, "Hey, remember that mandatory update we were going to do at 2 o'clock? Well,
It
we changed our
it
mind."
wasn't like an update that I even scheduled or anything. It just went. Everything just went down. I'm like, "Wait, did we lose power?" Like,
I used to do software like maintain software at a university, and whenever Windows 10 came out, it it would do like mandatory updates when we were trying to update the software packages, and they were like it almost felt like remember Stewart from Mad TV where it was like, hey, I got to update too. And we're like, oh, really? What's the update? And they're like, nothing much. It's just like, you won't know the difference, but we have to make it do it right now before you update your other stuff that's actually important. So we turned those automated updates off, but it would still force us to do an update like once every maybe like 30 days or something like that. And we're just like, oh God, not right now. It's midterms.
right? Oh wait, no, that's not what I'm supposed to be showing.
Oh boy, here we go. Let's see
This is what
that
I'm showing.
desktop.
There we go. That's what I wanted to see.
Let's see your porn folder.
My porn folder. I don't have a porn folder.
That's okay. It's
My
just like
desktop actually is not. It's not a
it's
bad
like a
desktop. I
Sears
mean, it's
catalog from like
there you
1990.
go. So all my quick drops of stuff,
It's a nice, clean looking desktop.
I try.
Those two
It's like
folders are like
OCD.
those two folders are like the Tatooine Suns.
But yeah, that's why I was just like, all right, let's just, I dump everything there and it's easy access to grab the stuff, So when I'm doing my episode, I'm like, oh, here's all the stuff I need right there. Until my computer's like, I'm gonna restart on you, you son of a bitch. So all right, so we got some people that were somebody said after you're finished, chug chug chug.
Oh, like when you went away, I said I'm gonna pee
Oh,
on this cup right now, and he can't stop me because you were like gone.
I mean, you could have. That would have been pretty funny. That would have been
I
pretty
I
funny.
I definitely could have, but I feel like I would have to like sit up a little bit more. But
Thank you, Venger, for saying that we were live still.
yeah, I was
Action
just
Force
like,
being perfect and
okay.
trash.
But
Judd Dotson good said Action Force being perfect and trashing the compat edition is another X channel. Yeah, I mean, I get it. I get it.
what did he say?
Because Judd said because Action Force was pooing on everything else, like talking trash, and
Oh, okay.
then that's what
Yeah,
they're
you know
talking about.
what? Man, I remember like I left like the toy forums like years ago because everyone was like fussing on the toy forums, and I was like, I could be depressed and upset on my own for like without being on the internet. So I don't need to like I try not to like get in any kind of toy drama or anything like that.
There's
So
a
I
lot out there, man, and it's like it with the group that I'm in with the plastic cannibals, and I try not to have it where it's just trash talk. Like I just like it's Judd is actually pretty good in it. He's really good at it, actually, what I'm saying. He's always posting up like stuff that people wouldn't even think about getting, like some figures
like
that would just pop up that grabbed attention. I'm like, oh, that's freaking badass.
yeah.
And
I'm just like blissfully unaware of it and make make an effort not to do any of the like you said like the fussing type stuff. Um, but there was something that did pop up that I wanted to mention. I can't remember what the character's name is. It's a Marvel Legend figure that I recently got. He's like a that like the speedster build. He's got a blue outfit, like puffy hair and goggles. What is his name?
Speedball.
Yeah, Speedball. Like the pad printing on his hands and legs are outstanding, and then his goggles look really cool too. That's one of the Marvel decos that I feel like really like they dialed it in. It looks like I have no complaints about that figure at all.
But then
It's
you
really
look at that whole wave, and it's like they do it on one, but they don't continue that quality throughout all the figures and stuff. And that's what sort of bums me out a little bit, because like if you look at like GI Joe,
right,
once they tuned it in, now they're
right.
like putting stuff out, and the
No, it's
quality
really
besides
dialed
Lieutenant Falcon stretched out mouth face,
in.
that
Wait,
that
what? Say it
that's
again. His face is
Lieutenant
weird.
Falcon stretched out mouth face, where his like mouth is super long and he just looks, it's weird. If you haven't seen it, I'll have to send it over. But I'm like, people are just complaining. Yeah,
I don't
it
want it.
looks like that. But I mean, it's like they're putting that quality of detail in the print tech. There's like everything is continuing forward. And
Yeah,
it's like if Marvel Legends could do the same, to where it's like, all right, you get some one-offs that are like, oh, dude, that's a banger of a Marvel Legend. But
right.
then you look at the other wave mates and they're just trash. I mean, look at
Yeah.
we'll just use Darwin for an example. Like it's just like
What
meh.
what's he look like?
He was like the alien head guy, and he was
Oh
all
yeah,
wearing like
is
the
that part of
purple.
that wave?
He wasn't part of that wave, but I'm just
Okay.
using it as an example. It's
Oh okay.
just the
Yeah.
basicness of like the figures. It's like
Yeah.
if you're gonna give us a basic figure, and then like all right, with Speedball, for example, they did the good print, the goggles and stuff, but what effects did he come with?
That's the one little thing. I wish he would have came with something. He didn't come with anything. Doesn't have any accessories at all.
See, and that's but they're charging that premium dollar.
What's his power? Is he a speedster?
I think he does something with balls. I'm not sure. I'm not
Yeah.
100%. I remember seeing the character and I knew his name, and I've seen him in comics, but I never really knew what his power was. Somebody will mention in the chat, I'm sure. But yeah, it's just
He
that
just does
quality, man.
speedball. He just does speedball.
I was trying to see if I had anything that was close by that sort of resembles that what I'm talking about, but of course not. It's all cool figures by me. Um, yeah, that speedball was a cool figure. Oh, I guess he does have momentum power.
Okay, it makes sense. You know, so I still collect very limited 4-inch scale, and the I'm gonna think of it. World of Halo are freaking awesome. I think they're better than their 6-inch counterparts. Like the 6-inch counterparts have these really bizarre, weird V joints. I don't know if you've seen them. They look cool
Yeah,
from the front, but like seeing them from the side, you're just like, what's going on there? But you know,
that's why that's with 4 inch. I've been eyeballing, but I'm like my wallet is probably not wanting me to do it. Those Joy Toy Warhammer figures, the 40K Warhammer
oh my God,
40K.
I saw those in person. They so like I had no interest in getting them, and I'm not going to get them because they're a little too pricey. But I was at a
Yeah,
convention and someone like just like bought a ton of them, and they are absolutely gorgeous. Like the paint applications look so great. They have these almost like seamless airbrush shading on all the armor and everything, and all the colors perfectly match the miniatures. Which I'm not into Warhammer, but like that the guy that was showing me was mentioning like, hey, these like look like a perfect translation from like an expertly painted miniature to the 3 3/4 scale. And he also got the I can't remember what it's called, but it's basically like a big mech. And what's funny was like there
Dreadnought.
was a kid at the booth. What's that?
The Max, if it's the one I'm thinking of, it's their dreadnoughts. They're
Yeah, that's
where
what
it's
it
like
was. It's
almost like
like
a
a blue
sort of like
form. Like
square and the little head in the
it's
side center of it.
it's it's based on that, but it's not exactly that. Like it's you could put a character in it. Uh,
Oh shit.
it's badass. But like, what's funny is like there was a kid at the booth, like just like playing with them, like kids would play with a toy, you know. And we were just like, holy crap, these things are holding up really well. Like you wouldn't think it would hold up to like kids play, but it did fine. We were like, okay, I'm impressed.
Shit. For 80 bucks a pop or whatever, I would hope that those damn things could
I would
withstand
really
some
don't
kids
know.
clacking them together.
Like the thing is, like I could get it, but like I would feel like I would have like buyer's remorse. You know, it'd be like my my like stuck in the early 2000s brain would be like, you
I don't
did what? For what?
let
For a 3/4 inch figure? Ah, oh,
when I move, um, it will. I might invest. I might
yeah,
invest and get because they released the Gray Knights and I didn't really play. I was like a paint. I would usually get the figures and paint them and never really played. I
actually,
get the books and stuff because I love the artwork in them, and I would
yeah,
always have intention to play. Never played.
right, yeah.
But
Well, you know,
and then Venger in the Plastic Cannibals group, he's been picking them up. One of my buddies, Paul, has been picking them up, and they just keep showing pictures, and I'm like, you guys suck because they look
well,
so cool. Like my buddy
I
Paul
wonder if
did
you
like
could,
the evil guys to where he had like it was like a demon head on a or like a helmet on a spike or something on his pauldrons and stuff. I'm like, that's insane.
yeah, yeah. The guy had like he had like 6 of the good guys, the guys in the blue armor, and then I think 3 of the bad guys in the black armor. And I bet you could use those as game pieces. That's what's like. That's what is so exciting to me about like the Primal Battle game is that you can use characters from the comic book and the toy line, like all the stats and everything are built out. And if I remember correctly, I think set up Jeremy and Zachary set up something towards the back of the books that you can like kind of dial in and make your own characters and stuff. So or
That's
we at least
awesome.
talked about it. I can't remember now, but I'm really excited to see people use the figures in the game, and I think people could probably do that with the 3 3/4 inch Warhammer figures
I
as
mean
well.
that opens you up to go to like some of these like wouldn't it be like those trading card game type of conventions and stuff
Yeah,
because you're actually showing
absolutely.
like
I mean,
game stuff? Like that's
did you
pretty
have
cool.
those?
I think so. They
You know
used
what's
to back
funny?
in the day. They used to do it where you could go in and there'd be like people playing Warhammer. They'd be
Right.
people playing other stuff, and you could pick up cards. And I, I don't know. Maybe that
So
stuff. I hope it didn't die out because I thought that was like a different type of
I'm sure
convention.
it is. Like, there's a local shop that has like game stuff like every like at least once a week, and that's one of the things we talked about. Like, we were gonna start having like AWOC Wednesdays where we would host an AWOC Primal Battle board game every Wednesday night, or at least maybe like once a week. You know, whatever people could do somewhere in town. And we were saying like, how cool would that be if like people were doing Primal Battle AWOC Wednesday across the country, you know? So it's cool
There
to
you
think
go.
about those type of
I mean,
things.
you have a lot of opportunities in future ahead for your line, man. There's a lot of stuff that you can do. People are loving it. And I mean, you hit that nice mixture of everything into these characters and figures. It's just like it has like the nostalgia vibes from everything,
Right,
but then it's
right,
also like, oh, I like mythics. These things are actually like
right.
mythics. You know, I can have
Exactly.
with mythics, but I also like it's you did a really good job, and I can't
Thank
wait
you.
to get a hold of them in hand and pose them up because seeing those poses and stuff,
Right.
it's just and even the weapons. It's like now I know that blight actually comes with poison, so I can be like, man, my blight
Right.
just stabbed you. You're
Yeah.
gonna die of poison, you know?
Right. Yeah. It's gonna be. I mean, it's hugely flattering, and like I just can't wait to for everyone to kind of have them in hand and experience them and enjoy them and start playing and customizing in ways that I haven't thought about. That's always fun, especially seeing them in my Instagram like discovery feed. I'm like, oh, whoa, that's cool. That's my stuff, you know. So yeah, it's exciting. I can't wait till I'm packing and shipping out everyone's goodies.
We got some someone did say that you eventually be able always talk about the joy toys, be able to play games with them. I
That's
guess
yeah, that's
this
what
the
I was
mech you're
thinking.
talking about was the Invictor Warsuit, possibly.
It's like it's like this blue mech. It's almost like it has like this cage that kind of comes down, like kind of like
Yeah,
the
it
yellow
it must
forklift
be
with
that
the
because
nose.
he's heavily into the joy toys, so it must be the Invictor
Yeah.
Warsuit then.
You know what? I have a couple of Joy toys that are just like they're just like generic warrior, like just I don't know what they are, but like they fit really well in with my 4-inch Halo figures. Like I kind of consider them as like I don't know how much Halo lore you know about, but like they had like the independent humans that wanted to break away from the UNSC before the
Yeah,
Covenant. So I kind of have them in my display, kind of in that role.
nice,
I
nice,
like Halo a
nice.
lot.
No, Halo's good, man. I just wish that they would have put the love into the last game that they dropped. I was like, man,
You know,
I was like,
I
you
love the campaign. Like I've played it a bunch, but like we don't have good
multiplayer though.
internet, so I can't play the freaking multiplayer.
That's what happens when you go out to the you get away from civilization, you
It's
know.
the price to pay. So is the multiplayer just crap?
It was good at first, and
Yeah,
then it was just like they didn't release maps, and it was just like, okay, when are you gonna do something to this? And they
right.
just really didn't.
That's a bummer.
Um, Never walk into Games Workshop. The guys follow you around the shop. Judd saying there's a card shop in my neighborhood that holds game nights. I haven't heard of a game convention in years.
Yeah, yeah.
And
It's funny.
then
I remember I was in a
you,
band in the early 2000s, and we would showcase and record in Orlando, and we'd stay at my buddy's house who was going to Full Sail College, and him and I
my
went
brother
to
went to Full Sail.
what's that?
I said my brother went to Full Sail,
Oh,
and then
my
he stopped.
condolences. No, I'm joking. That's a great school.
No,
I'm
no,
just teasing.
he did he ended up dipping out of it. Like it was just was ridiculously expensive,
Yeah,
and
it's
also in
hard,
Florida, and
right?
being a kid that is hey, here you're going to school, here's some money, and then you're in Florida, raves and
Right.
parties and
It's amazing. Yeah,
techno.
I mean, it's got all kind of cool stuff. It's hard to focus. And uh,
Yep.
anyway, while we were there, we went to this building, like this comic shop called Sci-Fi Planet, and the shop was cool. And I was like, man, it's weird. Like it's like it looks way bigger on the outside, and it was like this little small space, you know. And they had this curtain, and like we went behind the curtain, and it was like this huge area where people were just like playing tabletop games, and we're like, oh, okay, it's mostly like for tabletop gamings and everything. But like I hadn't really seen like a big giant gathering of people doing tabletop games until then.
Yeah, there you go. A walk tabletop game coming at you. But all right, I guess the question stuff slowed down. I had you for 2 hours, man, which is and even on short notice, making you get on earlier than you weren't that you
Yeah,
were
man, my pleasure. I'm
expecting.
sorry I was late. I got all my times mixed up.
It's completely fine. I was like, I'll postpone this shit to 8 o'clock if I need
That's
to,
right.
you know.
Just like a dead
but
air, you know, like the color blurs.
but everybody, make sure you screen cap this if you're watching this. You know, go ahead and go get some figures.
Oh
Um,
yeah.
and it's definitely a pleasure having you on, and
Yeah,
it's
thanks for
awesome
having me.
to be able to get the inside sort of scoop of like talking about the figures, and you actually having that passion and the extra knowledge, because you're like, I created these damn things, so it's just like
Right. Yeah. I
it's
mean,
good
we
to
have
see
a
that.
great team, but you know, I'm spoiled enough to where they can kind of translate some of my crazier thoughts, and uh, yeah, I mean, it's definitely my brainchild, but we have a fantastic team that's kind of bringing it all to fruition. So yeah, I
That's
feel
awesome.
super lucky, and thank you so much for having me on. And I'm looking forward to coming back on when we actually have stuff we can be like smashing, like, oh, look at this cool toys.
Hey man, you're more than welcome to come back at any time. Anytime you're like, hey, I'm getting this on. I don't have anything planned. What are you doing? We'll make it work. We'll make it
Sounds
work.
like a plan.
But all right, everybody, make sure you guys go get your Animal Warriors of the Kingdom. You got the website down below. We gave you the QR code. I'm going to have it all linked in the description as well. So make sure you guys go check them out, pre-order. You can get them on Big Bad Toy Store. But these figures are going to be awesome, and don't be the one sitting there being like, man, I should have. I mean, even if you just get one, you know. But
Yeah, give it
as I tell you,
a
right. And as I tell you guys in all my videos, I want you guys to have the best luck hunting, keep on collecting, and have a beautiful day. I thank you guys for tuning in every time I go live. Appreciate it. And you guys have a great rest of your day.